I'm pleased to be able to follow up with Gary Picou of PS Engineering. If you watched our live coverage of the new product introductions yesterday, you saw the announcement of the PAC 45. And to make a long story short, if you don't know PS Engineering, you don't know audio panels. They've done a spectacular job over the years, not only concentrating on an industry segment, but perfecting it. And I will say that to my grave. I just don't know anybody who's done as dedicated a job of working with audio systems as they have. And I've watched Mark work on this forever and a day, along with you, Gary, and done a spectacular job. But let's talk PAC 45. What's new? What's the newest, bestest, mostest, fastest, coolest?
Well, the coolest thing, the PAC 45 is a special mission audio system. We designed this thing to meet the needs of these guys in the rotorcraft that are doing law enforcement, they're doing medevac, and we've been able to use the technology which we got from the Air Force. It's called multi-talker, which allows the user to put the different radio sources, the receivers, in different places around their head. It's spatial audio, and it's a little tough thing to explain. But when you hear it, everybody goes, "Oh, I get it," because when like you and I are talking, and you're over to my right, and I'm able to talk to you and listen to what you're saying to me, and there's also people who are talking over on the left, and I can pay attention to them if I need to, or if I don't. But it just separates the conversations, so it's not just all one ball. So and that will really be able to make a difference for these guys that are out there in the conditions that they're in to try and save lives. And that gives me a lot of pride to be able to say we can bring this to these people. So
it sounds like this has been a long genesis. I know of some of the technologies that you've been implementing and some of the discussions I've had with Mark and with you over the years. Why this, why now? Well,
2 years ago we brought out the PMA 450, which was the first implementation of this spatial audio and tele-audio. And then it had to scale up. So yes, we've been wanting to get into special mission applications for a long time, but that marketplace has really been locked up. The people that have been in there are very good, and they've been there for a long time. So if we're going to bring something new to the marketplace, we have to blow it out of the water. And we think that now's the time to do it. We've perfected the technology, we've got certification underway, we've figured out the best way to install it, to make it simple for the installers, to find a price point that can be attractive to these agencies. So that's why now, and I'm really happy to do it.
Run us through the PAC 45, if you will.
Sure. Well, what you see here is a 3 control panel implementation. We would have a control panel for the pilot, one for the co-pilot, and one for the mission, which might be medevac or it might be an observer for law enforcement. What you can't see from the front is that the bottom unit's a little bit larger because it has a hub. So all the audio signals coming from the rest of the radios only go to one place instead of being paralleled throughout the aircraft. But and so each one of these control heads can control what the user hears. So if the observer needs to just listen to tactical radios, he can select those and transmit on those, and the crew can concentrate on flying the airplane, or you can have a pilot concentrate on flying and a co-pilot who's concentrating on getting to the incident, and then somebody is going to work the incident. So,
well, this is a very different market from the sport, GA, and light biz markets that you've worked in before.
Yes, it is.
You're going to be dealing with mounds of paperwork, first of all, and certainly a very discriminating audience. How do you expect to be able to get their attention and let them understand what it is that you bring to this mix?
Well, one reason is that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Bringing it in front of our dealers. These are the people that are going to do the sales and the installation once they are aware of it. Of course, we've been to the helicopter show. We're working with certain, OEMs. And getting in front of the actual users. So, airborne law enforcement and that kind of thing. What we have been really amazed by is already talking to some of these other people that we haven't before. Our reputation is there before us. People are saying, "Oh, PS Engineering, right. Yes, we know you." we're really happy to have you, to come step up and come into our market.
Well, it's also nice to be known as the guy that, or the guys that everybody's copying right now too.
Well, as far as in general aviation audio, because we've been there for 30 years, I've been with Mark now for almost 20 years. In fact, when I put on my convention, I met him at an AEA convention in 1990.
Oh my.
So that's, how far back we go and how much time we
Too
invested.
long.
We invested with the Aircraft Electronics Association.
Outstanding. What, when you're building for a different kind of market, are you following the same testing and certification protocols?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a definite certification that we'll do for TSO, and our environmental testing will encompass the helicopter environment. Because our remote hub is going to be remotely mounted, we'll have to look at installing it as a remote piece of equipment in the avionics bay for a larger aircraft. And certainly this is not limited just for rotary wing, but we'll be Part 25, Part 23, 25, 27, 29. So our certification basis is going to be, that's not an issue. Paperwork's not an issue. We got the performance to meet it.
Talk to me more about the technology behind multi-talker.
Oh, it's digital signal processing.
Straight DSP?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Where's
the magic though?
The magic comes in the algorithms.
Gotcha.
And that kind of processing and the computations, which is really where the patent is. And what's the Air Force has figured all that stuff out. So, they just, we work with them, and I've seen what that technology looks like, but it looks just a bunch of numbers. It's all about the arithmetic.
Well, it's certainly going to be an interesting shift in cultures when you're dealing with that kind of market versus some of the others that you've dealt with heretofore.
For PS engineering, yes.
Yeah.
I've been in this industry 40 years, man and boy, and I kind of, I really understand. My first aircraft ride was a helicopter. So, it's not something that I'm not unfamiliar with. I'm very comfortable talking to these guys, to the actual users, and we are. Mark is too. We've had a lot of conversations with the people and use the stuff every day.
Availability?
We are headed for June.
Okay.
June, we'll get everything certified, and we wouldn't introduce it unless we were darn sure we were going to ship it when we say we're going to ship it.
Do you have any ideas where your first implementations are likely to be?
Yeah, we do. I don't know what the non-disclosures are with some of these people, but we've got ships out there that we're going to go into. So
okay.
We're very excited.
Are they likely to be rotor first then?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the noise environment in rotor, it's not just hostile, it's weirdly hostile.
Right.
Because you're dealing with so many different frequencies and so many different variations on the theme when it comes to the kind of information involved, and especially if you're dealing with either military, law enforcement, or the like, where doors are open, doors are closed, this or that.
And that's why we have the flexibility built in. We can do push-to-talk intercom, we can do voice-activated, and the IntelliVox that we developed 20 years ago, it works really well in rotorcraft. We had a report from a customer who was standing on the skid with 40 miles an hour forward progress, just using the IntelliVox, speaking over the headset like we are here.
And of course, they have you out testing that kind of thing yourself, right?
Well, it's either me or Mark. We're going to draw straws.
I want to see Mark standing out on a helicopter skid. Yeah, there's an image, there's some video I really want, by the way. I'm not so sure he'd appreciate getting it, but hey, do what you got to do. What else is new at PS Engineering then?
Other than this, which is a lot of our engineering time, of course, we never deviate from our core product, which is general aviation. So at Oshkosh last year, we introduced our PMA 450A, which is the beautiful OLED display audio panel with the USB-C charger. And the 8000G, which we have FlightMate, where the pilot can record his own alerts that can be triggered either from the front panel or from something else in the aircraft.
Okay.
So, we still love our general aviation products, and we will always be with our core.
We've done some marvelous work over the years. The PMA 8000 I had in my previous airplane was, especially the Bluetooth capability, was one of the most useful piece of avionics despite the fact that you just don't consider audio panels that useful. I mean, they're the default. Oh, we got to have one of those.
Right.
But when you're taking a call as you're taxiing out, or getting something done, or for that matter, getting a little bit of business done here and there while you're sitting on the ramp waiting for startup time, whatever the case may be, it was just absolutely brilliant to have along, and I can't tell you how useful that little box was.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I never get tired of hearing that, but it's all we do is audio control panels, so we have to keep thinking about how we can make it more useful for everybody else.
Before we leave, tell me a little bit about the company. What doesn't this industry know about PS Engineering? What kind of company is it? Where did it come from? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the fundamental thing is that Mark bought an airplane and had an intercom in it, and it didn't work very well. It was a Grumman, and so being an electrical engineer, he says, I can do this better. So he and a friend did a portable intercom, and they started selling it at Oshkosh, and people liked it. So then somebody wanted panel mount, so they got FAA approval. We're a small company, we're a family company, 16 employees. Average span is about 15 years. In fact, we had our first retirement last week. Somebody had been with the company 20 years.
Oh my.
And so they retired. So we put a little fresh blood in there, but we are, just a small family, really. We just care about each other and care about the industry. We've got, our engineers are pilots. One engineer is a home builder. So, it's aviation and bloodstream.
Well, it's such a unique little company. It's one that's become kind of a personal favorite because I've watched you guys battle Goliath. I've watched Goliath rip off and duplicate everything you've done, and in the long run survive. And it's been through sheer force of will, sheer innovation, and a little bit of, I guess for lack of a better way to put, fortitude. And it's a little company that could, and I'll tell you what, it's been fun to watch you guys.
Well,
it really has been.
It's been fun to do it.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 60th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from New Orleans, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
True Blue Power Advanced Lithium-Ion Mainship batteries feature proprietary nanophosphate technology. They deliver 3 times the energy density and are more than 40% lighter than lead-acid or NiCad alternatives. RTCA tested, FAA certified, available to OEMs today.
Southeast Aerospace teamed up with Garmin International, Gables Engineering, and Peregrine Avionics to bring the most cost-effective and flexible ADS-B solution to the business aviation community. Our Part 25 AML STC is available for non-TCAS 2 Beechjet, Citation, Hawker, Learjet, and Falcon Jet. Visit seaerospace.com for more details.